weeks ago, I was getting all of my hunting gear out, checking and making sure that it was ready for the season. I quickly realized that something was missing, my hunting knife. Now, I've got plenty of other knives that I could have took, but this one was very special. This knife was one that my dad gave me when I was very young, and it has been with me on every hunt, and it has cleaned every deer that I've ever taken. So I searched the house high and low, asked my family if they had seen it, went several days and couldn't find it. Finally, when I found it, I breathed a sigh of relief, and I was very excited because this is a very special knife to me. Something that was dear to me was lost, and now I found it. You know, there's a story in the Bible, in the Gospel of Luke chapter 15, about a boy that left home. He took all of his inheritance, went away, and lived a wild life. The Bible says that he came to his senses and realized what he was doing and decided to go home, but he was afraid that his father would be mad at him. The story says that as the son was coming home, the father saw him a long way off and ran to him, put his arms around him, hugged him, loved him, and rejoiced that he was home. And then it says that dad threw a party because he said his son that was lost is now found. You know, that tells us that it doesn't matter how far away we may go or how lost we may feel. God rejoices when we come home. So I want to encourage you to realize this. God loves you so much. It doesn't matter where you are or what you've done. God will rejoice when you come back to Him. Hey, thanks for watching this week. We pray that you are blessed. Always remember, keep shooting straight.
This segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife. All right, guys, this segment's being sponsored by our friends over at Taylor's Archery. Y'all can find them at 100 East Lauderdale Street in Tullahoma, Tennessee, or give owner Tracy Taylor a call at 931-563-7706 and let him take care of all your archery needs. Take a rainy day and go down there and spend it in his indoor range. I guarantee you'll enjoy yourself. And tell Tracy thank you for all they do for us here at the show. All right, welcome back. And if you guys want to go ahead and call in with your own questions or comments, we're going to open the phone line, 615-737-7767. And while we're waiting on some of those calls to come in, we're going to sit here and just do a little talk.
Well, you know, Tim Buffalo was talking about that knife.
Yeah.
Man, my granddad, he kept some old steak knives, not the ones with the ridges, but just smooth.
Yeah.
He kept them so sharp, boy, you could just shave with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, as a kid, we were not allowed to touch Granddad's knives. And you always knew which ones were Granddad's because they looked rough. But boy, he could keep them.
But they'd shave the back of your hand, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Of course, a dull knife is a dangerous knife anyway.
Right.
But there, you cannot replace having a good sharp knife when you're cleaning anything, but especially a deer. So, yeah, great story tonight, Tim. Just as always, looking forward to seeing him tomorrow, too, guys. We're going to have a big day tomorrow, getting all together. I want to talk just a minute, Roger. When we got to the end of that segment a while ago, and I have talked to Anthony about this before, but it just blows my mind. But him and Mike all the same way. But there are areas in West Tennessee with 100+ deer per square mile.
Yes.
And that is just, for those of you that don't know, I mean, that is an astronomical number.
It is. Where that last video, where that last doe was shot, I drove down that highway, which is probably a half a mile from that location, in the evenings and counted 80 deer on the side of the road. Yeah. And when I say on the side of the road, I mean I'm not talking about in the field.
Yeah, just that you can see.
On the side of the road.
Yeah.
In a 15-mile stretch.
Yeah. And you know, it causes, of course, we know the obvious. I mean, CWD is there. Usually you're going to get that in higher population areas and things. That's, you know, a lot of that's going on up there. Now, it did not start because the populations were too high. I'm not trying to make it sound that way, but it makes it spread more, and there's several factors behind that. But there's a lot of crop depredation going on down there, too. I mean, when you're talking, there's a lot of crop there anyway compared to here in Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee, but you're talking 80, 100 deer at a time hitting your cornfield. you ain't gonna have a corn crop very long. You know, it doesn't take long to deprivate that.
One of the guys I get some of my land from, he owns a bunch of land, and there's spots where he will not let the farmer plant beans or corn.
Yeah.
They got to plant cotton.
Yeah.
Or they can't farm it.
Yeah.
Because some of his locations, they'll demolish a field.
That's incredible to even think about that many deer. We got some callers coming in. Let's go ahead and grab some. Ray, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, Brian?
Doing good. We appreciate you calling tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I was calling about the I won some jigs here a couple weeks ago, and I had never heard from y'all.
Yes, I'll tell you what to do. When you get off of here, I'm gonna have them give you my number, the number there at the office, and if you will contact me, well, you can either come get them at our office or we'll get them to you. I'm glad you contacted us back tonight. Go ahead and get with her and get my information so that you can contact us tomorrow at the office, so we'll square that away. Congratulations to you.
I appreciate it.
All right, have a great night.
All right, thank you.
All right.
They love those prizes.
Man, they do, and I tell you, here in a little while we're going to give some more away, so it's going to work out just fine tonight.
Okay.
But we've had to do a little switching around at the office and some things going on, and we're doing things a little differently now. But for those of you that win things, we're going to get you in touch with us, and you're going to start actually picking them up at our offices rather than here at the studio and do some things a little different. So, and we're going to have some winners coming up here real soon. On some great prizes, and we're looking forward to that. So, but you know, we were talking about these deer down in the CWD areas, and so you're fighting all these deer, 82. So a square mile, that's a little over 600 acres.
Right.
So you know, here in Middle Tennessee, I don't know the exact numbers. I'm not going to sit here and speak that I do, but I would say that we're in the ballpark of 20 to 35 deer square mile. So you're looking at 3 times or more that down there. And so that's why you're getting a lot of this, they've cut off in these CWD zones. You can't have your minerals anymore. You can't feed in the off season anymore. Well, the reasons for all this, there's so many deer there. If you do have one infected and it comes by and these other deer, when that many deer are coming together, I mean, it really spreads fast. So I think that's why we're seeing, and now too, I mentioned Mike Adams earlier, he's in
McKenzie.
McKenzie. I can't think of the county though off the top of my head.
Humphreys.
Henry maybe, or Humphrey, but
Henry.
Whatever it is. For example, they're being added. They're being added. I believe it's Henry County. But they're going to be added, this coming year, and we got another one being added. So as we go through time, unfortunately, we're going to see the spread, and I think it's going to spread faster in West Tennessee, and then maybe we'll get hopefully a little slowdown when it gets to less numbers.
Well, I got land in 4 counties. I got Shelby, Tipton, Fayette, and Hardin.
Hardin, yeah.
Every deer that I killed in Hardin County had it.
Yeah.
And I killed several deer on each place to get them tested. I got every deer I harvest tested, and only had 1 in Shelby County.
Yeah.
0 in Tipton County.
Yeah.
So
it just depends.
It depends on where you're at. But in that Hardin County, that's where we're right. I'm deadline where Chris harvests them does.
Where they just were. Yeah.
And that's where the heart of it is. And every deer that I've known to be shot was positive.
Yeah, yeah. What did you tell me we had Sean on? What line? Okay, we're going to try line 2 here. Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. If a deer is tested positive for CWD, can you still eat the meat from that deer? I'll hang up and listen.
Sure, thank you. I'll tell you what, the answer to that for me is 100% no. I would not, and that's why even being in Middle Tennessee, I like to still get my deer tested. Now some people say, well, I'm not going to test them. That's fine. But my point is, if I had one test positive, absolutely not would I feed it to my family. Now there are no studies right now that show that humans can contract it. There are also no studies that show
That they
humans cannot contract it. So because of that, for my family, it would be an absolute no. So what we do is we just, once the meat is processed and ready, I have 2 freezers. I know not everyone does, but if you only have one, you could put it maybe in a different section of the freezer. But then once you get that test back, go ahead and you can start, eating that deer meat. But until you get that test back, I would wait, especially if you were over in the West Tennessee area somewhere. There may not be a negative effect to it at all. We don't know. But the point is, because of that,
why would you chance it?
I'm not going to eat it if it's positive.
Yeah, and two, I mentioned having them tested. It's not just West Tennessee. I mean, there are testing centers, all across the area. So whether you're in Middle Tennessee or wherever you are, just look up the closest testing center to you, and you can go drop it off.
And they want you to test them. They want to know where it's at.
That's right, because if it has spread, this direction, whatever, they don't know if you're not having them tested.
Right.
They don't know. And now we've got that's getting up, it's getting up towards Kentucky now. So now they're in the warning area. So let's go on over here. And Steve, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. We appreciate you calling. How can we help you tonight?
Yes, I'm just wondering about the population of the deer, because there's so much money that insurance is paying out for the vehicles and whatnot. They need to increase. I think the population is really getting too big. I know people are building out and taking away the area for them to live in, but it's getting very expensive. I thought the insurance would take over, but why doesn't TWRA cut the population down in certain areas? You know yourself that they're great. I'm talking about a whole lot of. I hit one on a motorcycle one night, and I ain't drove one yet.
Yeah, it is really dangerous, and like you say, especially this time of year. I mean, you drive up down I-24 right now. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Loses his mind.
To kind of get it at, you were asking about TWRA, the deal is, especially in the CWD zones, they are doing everything possible to have as many deer taken as they can. They are offering bonus buck tags. They are offering
free
licenses, sportsman's licenses. The list goes on. They're doing everything they can to have more and more deer harvested in that area. Not to mention special regulations as well, such as being able to use a rifle during the velvet hunt. They can use a modern rifle during the muzzleloader season. So they've done a lot of things there. And then on a statewide level, they really did the same thing quite a while back. The problem is, to be honest, the hunters have not really done their job to the extent they should have. But the fact is, a deer hunter in Tennessee can shoot almost 300 deer a year. They can shoot 3 does every day of the season if they have their Type 94 sportsman's license. And we have a long season here. So to be honest, they have it available for the hunters to be able to regulate them, and agreeably, they have not really done it as we should have. So I don't know if we might see TWRA taking some more steps later down the road or not, but they have put forth the effort on the regulation side to do that.
Well, they just need to, somehow or another, they need to, somehow.
It's a tough situation, I agree.
They in charge of the produce, of the wildlife. They need to reduce it some kind of way.
Yeah, well, they have crop depredation tags as well, and that's about the only, they've done that for years also, and that's still a big deal in West Tennessee and other areas, but especially West Tennessee where you can get depredation tags.
Well, they extended our season till either the end of February or end of March last year.
I love the show.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for calling tonight. Have a great night.
I like to watch it all the time.
We love doing it. Have a good night.
All right. All right.
All right, guys, it's time to go over and do this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is being sponsored by our friend Wes Stone over at Cry Like Real Estate Services. Y'all can find Wes at 1432 West Main Street in Lebanon, Tennessee, or give him a call there at his office, 615-444-8200, and I guarantee as soon as he gets out of the tree stand, he'll give you a call back and get with you about all your real estate needs. No, seriously, we appreciate Wes and everything he does.
Absolutely.
He is a true outdoorsman and deer hunter just like we are. All right, well, Roger, what you got for us tonight?
Let's checking in your deer. You can do it on your phone. A lot of people think, well, I ain't got phone service. Well, that app, you don't have to have phone service.
That's right.
I did it the other day, and where I was at, My cell camera's got 1 bar. My cell phone will not even receive a text or send a text, but it was able to
and
check in that deer.
What he's talking about just real fast is the TWRA app. It's an on-the-go app. Put the information in there, and as soon as you have service again, it will send that information to TWRA. So good tip, Roger. We appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more Southern Woods and Waters.